and let us all do we can to build a better future.
So, Lauren, I got a question to ask you.
All right. What is the question?
Do you think the Democrats have a plan?
I mean, other than make as much money as they can for themselves?
Well, I mean, no, but let's really ask ourselves a serious question. Do you really think the Democrats have any kind of plan, or you think they're just going to start blaming people?
Oh,
Like how
no,
they
for
always
sure
do?
they're going to blame people. Everything is somebody else's fault.
Okay,
There's
well,
no plan.
yeah, unfortunately, it looks like the Democrats do actually have a list. So here we go. I want to give a shout out to this person, Denny Haifong. I hope I said your name correctly. Be sure to follow his Twitter account. A short list of what the Democratic Party blames for its problems: black men, Russia, third parties, leftists, Donald Trump. A short list of what's actually to blame: the Democratic Party and the monopoly capitalists that control it. A real fact. All right.
Mhm.
I mean, I look hard to argue with it when it's based on fact. So I want to pull up this video. Or again, Teslin Figueroa is speaking truth to power about what is wrong with the Democrats, what's wrong with their messaging, how they fail to really reach out to people. Let's go ahead and pull this video up. And if you're not following Case Study QB, please do so.
How this anti-woke narrative in other places, all of it seems to be working consistently. I mean, do Democrats need a new strategy for the South?
I think that the Democrats need a strategy for the country. Florida is conservative by Democratic design. I mean, like the lack of investment in Val Demings' race and infrastructure itself. I mean, you heard the Democratic Party of Miami screaming that the National Party left them out to dry. They sent no money to them. When Gillum was running against DeSantis, the National Party sent millions of dollars. This time they didn't even send 900,000 to the entire state. So this is not like, we could talk about like why people vote for candidates or why they don't vote at all, and what it all boils down to is the investment in your voters, in what they believe in issues, and engaging them directly. And the Democratic Party did a horrible job at that. $16.7 billion was spent on this election, and a lot of it didn't go to Florida. DeSantis still has $90 million left over in his coffers, and it's because the Democratic Party didn't. Yeah,
that's a lot of money, and we know where that money is going to be used.
Yes, and sorry, I do apologize. Teslin Figueroa was in this video, but
narrative.
Let me just go at least acknowledge the individual that was speaking, and I do apologize for not saying his name correctly. Mondale Robinson, again, he's speaking the truth about what's wrong with the Democratic Party. Now, do you think the Democratic Party is going to learn its lesson at all? Lauren, do you think the Democratic Party is really going to give a damn?
No, like you said, Florida is Republican by design, and it's supposed to be one of the most important states when it comes to votes.
Especially with the Electoral College.
Exactly. Well, that's why it's one of the more important states, because of the Electoral College. So it's like, of course, they're not going to learn their lesson. They know what they're doing. They thrive on the drama.
You know, and here's also the devastating fact too, and that is, even after this midterm election cycle, even after November 8th, the Democrats are quick to once again start lecturing progressives. So let's first pull up this jagoff, and I'm so sorry that I got to play a clip from Fox News. But here we're going to have establishment Democrats lecturing progressives on what it really takes to win.
The cold shoulder you've gotten from Democrats seems pretty palpable to me. And what I read about is there wasn't a whole lot of party help for you in your reelection effort. How do you feel about that?
Well, the far left, the 3% did not help me, but the party did help. I mean, they actually spent millions of dollars to counter the very negative attacks that the Republicans spent against me. So the establishment Democrats were there, the far left, and sometimes the far right. Those are the folks that make it hard for people like Tony Gonzalez, and I know that Congressman Tony Gonzalez have been on your show.
Right.
Some of us just want to roll up our sleeves and get the job done. I always follow the words of LBJ when he said, "I'm an American, I'm a Texan, and I'm a Democrat," all in that.
The difference is LBJ actually got things done. I mean, again, LBJ was the kind of guy who actually would urinate in front of his opponents. But that's a whole other story for another day. He would just intimidate people.
He was a messy guy, though. was a messy guy.
Of course, LBJ was a messy guy, but in his defense, and like I rarely want to go for a bat for a politician and be like, oh well, here, they're all right. No, all these politicians are scumbags, but at least LBJ in his time was at least able to get some things done. Again,
He did get us involved in the Vietnam War.
yeah, that is true. That again, scumbag material,
Like-
through and through. But
I mean, that's getting something done, but we A,
Yes.
didn't win, and B, he made us do it.
yes, but there also was the Civil Rights Act and a few other things here too in regards for
Okay.
poverty. I mean, but I again, there's these are just small caveats when you look at the bigger picture of these politicians. But with this jagoff Democrat here, especially speaking on Fox News, the Democrats haven't done jack. And when you have scumbag politicians from the past like LBJ and the rest, the fact that we can at least reference them of getting something done, at least in theory, for the people,
Mm-hmm.
well, okay, Democrats, you don't have a lot to hold a candle to.
That order, and I think that should apply to Republicans too.
The reason why
Well, all I know is that the DCCC and the House Majority PAC supported me in the millions of dollars to counter the monies that came in. They actually did. The establishment,
so it's just the
Democrats did.
progressives who don't like you.
Well, some don't. I actually have very good friends that are progressives, and I always tell my progressive friends, look at the definition of progressive. And that means you're open to new ideas. So it's not only their ideas, but being a
All right.
progressive should be open up.
Yeah, new ideas such as, we can't really do anything about Medicare for all, so let's just kick that can down the road. New ideas of, we really can't do anything about student debt, but maybe we can come up with a temporary program that's going to be shot down by the courts. We really can't do anything about climate change. Why don't you stop being poor and buy some safer, higher ground land? Don't be moving next to, to these industrial facilities. Stop being poor. That's the whole thing. When you hear centrist Democrats say to progressives embrace new ideas, they're telling you to embrace their old, stale, non-tasting ideas.
I just heard it's like that. It's like that thing from Emperor's New Groove when Yzma was like, when the guy was like, "We need food," and she goes, "Well, you should have thought of that before you became peasants. Take him away." Like, it's like that's just what it reminds me of every single time. It's like you need food, you need a shelter, you need clean water. Well, you should have thought of that before you decided to be a poor person.
Exactly.
Like,
Oh well.
ooh, did you see the new one from Mad World? That's another fun one.
Yes, let me go see that. What do sperm and politicians have in common? About 1 in every 500 or 600 million have a chance of becoming a human being. And he also wrote this one too, which is, what do you call a politician with a clear conscience? An Alzheimer's patient. Yep. That's what you call
zing.
That's what you call these politicians. And the Democrats, look, all this talk about them winning big, the real winners, the real winning thing from the midterm on November 8th was really ballot initiatives. That's the big key takeaway. Ballot initiatives won. The Democratic Party didn't fight. The Democratic Party didn't win. And neither did the Republican Party. The real big winner that all of us should be paying attention to is, again, how big of a role ballot initiatives played. Because at the end of the day, no matter who's in control of Congress or the Senate or the White House, the lobby groups have the final say. We got to get money out of politics. We got to start building movements and organizations not connected to Washington, D.C. And we need to start supporting ballot initiatives because it's up to us to start building this movement. It's up to us to start fighting for that better future. Don't expect the Democrats to learn a lesson. And if you're a vote blue no matter who person, and you're starting to wake up to the fact that the Democratic Party is always going to fail you, welcome to the club. You're thinking for yourself. And in fact, I say that I welcome disillusioned Republican voters and Democratic voters to our show, to our viewing audience. I welcome you here. Okay, you finally cut your strings. You moved a hand out of your rear end. You're no longer being a puppet. And help wake up people. To my viewing audience, everyone that's watching here, we got 135 people here watching, 135. And I know this is a monumental task I'm going to ask all of you, but bear with me. Try and reach out and talk to your friends, your neighbors, your co-workers. Wake them up to the fact that they're being screwed over. Politely wake them up to the fact that they're being screwed over by the politicians in Washington, D.C. It's gonna be an arduous task. I know it's a huge task to ask all of you to do this, but it can be done. We just got to wake people up to the fact that nothing's happening. No one's going to come and help us from Washington, D.C. They're okay with us being poor. They're okay with throwing out the elderly. They're okay with sacrificing the health and safety of our children. They're okay with us being in poverty. And it doesn't matter if it's a Democrat or a Republican that's, telling you, oh, we're going to do this or that. They're not. They're going to listen to their donors. That's all I got to say.